was 44 AT, after Trump, after the great Trumpian disaster, when a man of no education, no respect for history, nor humanity, little intellect, no morals, but who possessed an unquenchable greed and unbridled narcissism, led himself and his all too willing acolytes into the abyss, taking all that was beautiful and good, all that Mother Earth had provided with them. As a small group of men and women, scientists and others deemed essential to a new society, rocketed off the withering planet into the unknown in search of a new home that might sustain them, small circles of artists, all deemed unnecessary to a new society, gathered over the world. Nearing death, they strove to save the art, the greatness that had come from man and womankind's minds, hands, and imaginations. They would bury these wonders deep beneath the now barren land, each protected treasure beneath a strong, tall tower crowned with an unbreakable solar light. These lights would burn for as long as the earth possesses a sun. The artist's hope was that someone who cared would someday rediscover them all. As for the earth itself, time and providence would have to heal her. The year is now 446 AT. The planet is New Eden.
Yip joy, yip joy, yip joy. Look what I've got. Look what we've got. Hold it, see it. Let the ciphers on the page reach your senses.
What, Amarita? What have we got?
Avedon, man who knows so much, man who thinks nothing really good can happen. We've got a rocket and our own commander to fly it.
What? After begging and pleading, humbling ourselves, haunting every bubble office and every bubble complex in New Eden for 30 years?
35.
Yeah. We're gonna find Earth, yeah.
If it's really real and not just a myth, like one of Emerita's fantastic stories we performed to amuse the mighty Bubble-Roddy.
Fellow and tomatoes, those of us who love to touch and be touched, those of us who enjoy embracing and being embraced, who wish to breathe our air unfiltered, to see our sky unaltered by plexiglass or colored lights, our three moons unveiled, to drink our water springing forth from a fall, or flowing from a stream into our cups, unchemicalized and untainted, unfounded, outdated fear. I swear to you, the earth is real. I have studied New Eden's history for 80 of my 100 years. Our history on New Eden begins with the ship that brought our ancestors here over 4,000 years ago. You've all been to the Grand Bubble Musée de Rocketry. I've been there 100 times, and I've handled every artifact. They speak to me of a planet named Earth. The star maps are there to guide us. Oh, to know the clay we came from.
Poor Avedon. Nobody in any of the bubble classes of New Eden gives a hoot in the universe about history.
Yesterday is useless.
Tomorrow is all.
They say in their safe bubbles, they seek perfection.
No, Yulila. They say they found perfection.
They've stopped looking for anything. All they ever do is replicate, endlessly replicate. A food they liked 100 years ago, a pet they had as a child, body coverings, the same, every day the same.
Even when they take those coverings off, conceptually speaking, of course, in those sterile holographic booths, nothing different ever happens.
Ooh, how would you know about those ugly booths?
You didn't finally let them replicate you, conceptually speaking, of course. You know, for their boring sex games, for some new sparklers for your ears or arms.
Or to help get us our beautiful rocket ship.
If I didn't fall that low in the last 4 years, why would I do it now? Besides, I like the tickle of a beard, the smell of sweat, the feel of skin on skin, not some mock me and mock he making some mechanical movements and simulated sounds in a silly booth, no matter how perfect he thinks he is.
Perfect. That word again.
It's the favorite word of the bubblist credo.
Sends a chill skittering down my spine every time I hear it. I think they use it to make us feel, well, I don't know, somehow less than
Perfect.
I reject the word outright. It is devoid of meaning, like the word genius. It's used up.
I wish the bubblists would reject that word. I mean, I know we're just members of the amuser class, just here to make them smile and laugh, just one step up from their replicants.
Maybe, but at least they haven't made us consent to replication.
Oh, they tried. Maybe 50, 60 years ago, they kept the amuser replicants in their bubbles. They wilted and drooped. They failed to amuse. So the bubblicists, they destroyed them.
No!
I'm worse off than all of you. I'm a blooping scholar.
Will you perform my stories with us?
One has to live, my dear.
Well, what I was trying to say before Em scared me out of my next century of life with her tale of bubblists destroying amuser replicants, which I'm not so sure I believe.
I believe it. I've seen how mean those bubbleheads can get.
But anyway,
You started it.
Anyway, none of us amusers are perfect. I've got one blue eye and one brown, and my smile is kind of crooked, and my chin has a dimple.
Well, I love your dimple. Well, I have much more weight per centimeter than I'm supposed to.
Don't look at me. I'm perfect.
Oh, especially when you keep us up all night with your winged animal chirps and your Aussie Wonka howls and your wind noises and your humanoid noises mixed up with that words.
They're so otherworldly beautiful.
Oh, grazie. Boo! Ow! Ooh! Ooh!
Not when you're trying to go to Dream World.
What about you with your rattlesticks, your bottle blowers, skin-covered containers, and sound box?
Oh.
Enough, enough! I sometimes lecture without stopping for a breath, to the point that even my Intimato family won't listen. What's your point, child?
I think you're all proving my point. I think we're all better than bubble perfect. I think we are planet perfect.
Not this planet. At least not in the eyes of the bubble elite.
Earth perfect, then. Maybe that's why we've yearned for Earth so long. Well, no, Eden is based on science and math.
Isn't that a good thing?
Oh, a very, very good thing. Well, we'd have no rocket without them, no maps, no starlit path to Earth. We'd never live out our 200 years. We'd know grave sickness and pain.
Science and math are wonderful things, but they are not all things. We, the Intimatos, the lowest of the low, who live outside the bubbles, know this best of all.
Our gold sun against our lilac sky.
Our 3 moons that drink the gold from the sun when the day is no more.
The deep, deep green of our waters, enfolding us, delighting us as we glide around in them.
Avi and Anna, are we right to leave? It is lovely here.
I'm so frightened. We are plunging into the unknown for who knows how long, all of us suspended on the cusp of death.
That was my sweet Damia. His family, every intimate family that has been requesting rocket transport has just been granted it. The rockets are kind of old, but still, they're just giving them to any amusers who want them.
That's strange, so very, very strange.
Maybe yes, maybe no. Let's form our mind circle and try to understand.
Well, to do that, we've got to understand what makes the bubblers do what they do.
Why bother? Most of them are so boring.
Lila, it's important. I can feel it very strongly, and you all know when I feel something that way.
Okay, but let's analyze too. Back to the beginning.
Avi, no, not the beginning.
Yes, Yulia. Over 4,000 years ago, our Earth people ancestors landed here. Their instruments told them New Eden's atmosphere was much like theirs had been before the great Trumpian disaster. Their logbook spoke of...
But when some of them left the ship without their protective bubble suits, well, many of them died.
Many, but not all.
That's right, not all. But those who died shriveled up in agony.
So they all ran back into the haven of their rocket ship.
But if they didn't die?
They were terrified by what they had just seen. They felt it could still happen to them.
From then on, they only came out in their bubble suits, and they used their ship's filter to purify the atmosphere in their first bubble structures.
So
skipping ahead about 4,000 years, they've been building their bubbles ever since, covering 2/3 of New Eden.
And they still only go out in their bubble suits, even though beings like us,
The crazy ones, the venturers, the amuser class, the intimados, left the bubble centuries ago.
And we haven't shriveled up and died. We trade our performances for medicines and Dizilium energy rocks from the bubblists to warm and cool our shelters and anything else New Eden's land can't give us. We're free.
why don't they all break out the bubbles and come out, be with us?
And look how they disinfect us every time we enter the bubble.
they are afraid.
But that makes no sense. Whatever killed our ancestors millennia ago must be gone from New Eden, or how could we be alive?
That kind of fear isn't made of reason. What started with a tale of horror, grown from seeds of truth. And though the horror no longer exists, well, the seeds of fear once planted have taken root.
And they keep building more and more bubbles.
And taking more and more of our New Eden land.
And if they were to come out, they'd cease to be the bubblist elite. They'd just be plain New Edeners.
But how does this explain all the rocket ships they're giving us?
Think.
Well, they never liked us much. I could feel it. Even after we'd perform and we'd amuse them so very much that they'd fawn and fuss all over us.
And they try to get us into their holio-ornographic booths.
Still, they didn't like us.
But they never let us stay inside their bubbles more than one Eden turn at a time.
When the gold of the sun hit the sky, out we go.
but some of them are changing.
Undeniably. You know, I have 7 sons and 1 daughter, and 6 of them have stolen into the bubble many times, and each of them has brought out many fantastical boys and girls who have become entomados. Well, they live not 3 streams from here. Elsa and Rosia, well, they've even performed with us, remember?
And I don't mean to brag, but dozens of bubblists have followed me to the outside.
Where are they now?
Who knows? But one thing I do know, they've never gone back to the bubble.
It begins to become clear. They want all of New Eden for their bubble complexes. We have become an annoyance, and we might oppose them.
With what?
Doesn't matter. Even if it's just with words, the bubblists allow no argument.
It upsets their perfect world.
Also, some of their younger ones are leaving.
No doubt they'll say we lured them away.
No doubt. But the truth is, the roots of fear are weakening, and the brave ones want to feel the outside without a bubble suit.
So now, dislike and distrust of us, the different, no matter how amusing we all might be, turns to hate. They think we are taking from them.
Fear and hate together. I feel danger, hot danger. The bubblists want us gone.
But they love our performances, so they need their amusers.
Not so much anymore. We've been asked to perform less and less. One of my boys told me the bubblist scientists have made a chemical elixir that can keep anyone happy for at least 6 hours at a time.
That's longer than we can.
Well, 3 of my boys smuggled some of that bubbly yip joy juice out and tried it.
And?
And they say it is wonderful. Well, but not so nearly as wonderful as what we do. Though he did say if we did both together.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. The point is, the bubblists have found a substitute for us. They don't need us anymore. They want us gone.
You said that before.
Our circle has given us understanding. Now all those rockets make sense.
So what do we do?
We do what we always long to do. We go back to Earth.
We've always felt a part of ourselves was missing, lost, out of reach. Let's go find it.
After all these years of fantasizing and dreaming, now that it's real, I don't know. Do we even know if Earth is livable?
Yeah, the bubblists want us
Gone. I know, but
we have to go. I feel it. But do you think they'll really let us go? Or do you think they may blow us all up in ships so we never annoy them again?
No, Anna. Well, they've done away with some of the replicants, so sure. Well, they consider them property. But you know it's against bubblist law to kill an original. And we are all originals. Oh, they won't break their perfect law.
Maybe so. But who knows how they might react if we turn down their largesse and stay on Eden. I think our circle is in agreement. We go to Earth.
And we take as many of our intimates with us as are willing to go.
Agreed.
Agreed to Earth.
Earth.
Right on, right on, right on. You, the female Emeretta and Emeretia, and you, the male Arvedian, are 2 of the architects of the amenities.
In tomatoes.
Yeah, you, the amusers. I'm Commander Bedham.
Commander, don't mistake us for the bubblists. No ucky-uck leaders here.
We practice mind gathering. We gather minds together and then we make them up.
Yeah, well, but they listen to you the way my men and women listen to me.
We listen, but we don't have to agree.
What is it, Commander? I can sense you're not happy with us.
And why not?
No, it's not you intimate tatos. I've had some great times with you amusers outside the bubble. I mean, you tickle my brain, you know what I mean?
Among other things.
Yeah. Well, look, this is what's happening. I'm on leave from geological duty. I'm in the middle of this space-tacular oleoonographic program. You know, I'm enjoying a vial of that new Joy juice the labs came up with, you know. Now, you got to get your mind around the fact that my programs are nothing like that bland, bubble stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, I've parked my spaceship on every landing pad, on every planet in this golden sun system. You know what I mean? You know, so I'm flying way, way beyond the stratosphere when the blooping program goes dead. And into my booth comes two of the bubbliest uckiest, I mean the uckiest. They're in those white suits, you know, you get it, it's so white, the glare kind of puts your eyes out, you know, especially when you've been sucking on that joy juice, you know. So they get me to follow them out of the booth with me kind of crazed out and angry since I paid for 6 hours of bliss and I still had 4.5 coming to me.
My heart goes out to you, Commander, but how does this concern us?
Yes, I'm getting there. You amusers like stories. This is mine.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
Okay. So the Uckies get me in this bubble quiet room, you know, where no noise can get in or out. And the two of them, a male and female, commence staring at me till their eyes are just these little slits. You know, so I stare right back at them, you know what I mean? And then the female starts talking fast and annoyed, like an Aldazarian Grand Guard.
Flashback. Commander,
Madam,
you've been a member of the New Eden space voyages for how long?
oh, 70 New Eden years, you know, give or take.
A commander for
40.
head of space geology.
20.
How long have you and your team been stealing from the bubble?
Well, I could see I have done some fancy jet moves around the truth, but that I could have, you know, done some fancy moves, but I could see it was going to do me no good. Nope. The male bubble is lucky. He's still staring, you know, and this vein on his forehead comes to quiver and pulsate. I mean, he's as annoyed as I've ever seen a bubblist get. My team, we've been the main diggers and gatherers of the zillion for years and years, you know?
Ah, the little fusion rocks that run everything in the bubble and in our home.
Yeah. Well, they're just the most highly prized stuff anywhere in the star system, you know? And my team works so hard and gets so little. You know, we filled so many storage vaults full of those gazillion rocks for the bubble, and the blooping things, they last like tens and tens of years. My team figures if a few rocks fall out off the pile, you know, and into our pockets, the bubblist wouldn't mind. You know, we figured wrong.
Flashback. Commander, you and your team are being reassigned. We wish to remove the amuser class from New Eden. And as it so happens, many of them have been requesting to go.
Many, not all.
You're to convince them all.
And if I can't?
You will.
And where am I depositing them?
Back where they came from.
I don't get it. You can't mean Earth. I mean, we all came from there. The Milky Way, the third planet from the yellow sun.
You deserve no explanations. They've run wild. They've refused the safety of the bubble. We want them
Gone.
Oh, yeah, you're blooping right.
Anna, gather all your skin-covered containers. Make as mighty a noise as you can. Leela, get on your connector device. We must alert all the families.
Yes, we have to. We have to do an immediate mind gathering of the Intermato families. We must convince them all to come with us.
But what if someone won't? Will they kill them?
I've seen a lot of killing all over the starscape, but not by the bubblers. I mean, they'll do away with a replicant if they're annoyed enough, but not an original. You know, the law forbids that.
And we're all originals.
Thank the universe.
But what they might do is destroy your host structures, you know, your food lands, your good water, poison the air, and turn the lilac sky to dark, greasy gray.
Then they'd be right. It would be unsafe outside, and any Intermato left on New Eden would be forced inside the bubble.
Kill New Eden?
They might do anything just to be right.
They've never loved New Eden. All they do is put on their bubble suits, come outside, grab what they want, and run back into their bubble. Zip! Now that they feel they can replicate all that Eden has to give, they wouldn't think twice about ruining her.
We'll get your meeting going. You know, we've got 3 New Eden days for all of you to pack, and for me and my team to ready 7 ships. Then we set our instruments for home, for Earth.
The year is 4548 AT.
Right all, yep, yay. Wake up, wakey up. Come on out of your pod there. We're entering Earth's orbit. Look out your portals. See the myth of Earth alive.
I can't stop.
I'm crying. I know.
Look at the greens. But I think the sky's blue, not lilac. Why is that? Oh, lots of water to drink and glide in.
Our instruments say the air is right for us.
What will we learn? What will we rediscover?
My mind won't give my voice the words.
Oh, Earth, whose call traversed the stars and reached our hearts. What tales will you tell us? What secrets will you be willing to share with us?
Put on your place belts. We have 5 minutes to landing. I'm seeking out a good surface as we speak.
Alvy, Leela, look. See the lights twinkling below? What can they be? They seem to be lighting our way to Earth.
You're my